said again, good morning, everyone. We'll just proceed with this presentation. We are glad to have you here with us, and we hope that we'll be able to communicate our plans and our intentions at the end of the day to align with your understanding of how to prepare a bankable business plan. So a little bit on the agenda. Like my name again is Ayodele Olatiregun. I have three of my colleagues here, Bankable, Vivian, Atoyi, and Luisa Ejanabo. And Wenga will be moderating the questions and answers after the presentation. And the agenda of the day is just for us to have these presentations, and then we have some recommendations for you as to how you can prepare your bankable business plan, and then we can entertain some question and answers. I hope to go with this presentation for just about 30 minutes, and we'll then take the question and answers thereafter. Just as some of the ground rules, please, you are free to ask any questions. There's a question and answer button that you could use, and we'll be glad to take them. So the presentation outline is basically to talk about what a business plan is, how you are able to do this. We'll try to make sure that you understand about what a bankable business plan is properly aligned, and then we'll talk about the components. What are the things that make up what are the different things that make up the business plan, and why we feel you need a business plan for your business, and we'll now show you some steps as well on this. So that's basically what we'll be talking about for today. The business plan is really a document that you call an article of faith, something that helps you conceptualize your business, describes your business in detail, and it helps you define your objective, especially if you're doing in line with best practice. So it provides more like a roadmap for you to be able to chart the path that you follow in the business life cycle. So every business has its life cycle, when your startup stage, your growth stage, then when you get to the maturity stage, and all the things that you do along each of these paths are things that you need to really think through when you're preparing your business plan. And for you to understand how this works, there are two primary purposes that business plans have, and it's very good that you are able to understand them basically in terms of what kind of purpose they serve for you. So the business plan actually helps you to think through your business, define your value proposition, and define your revenue model, your business model, using different tested and trusted theoretical frameworks. And it also basically helps you set your vision, your mission, clearly, and as well as defining your goals, understanding the objectives of your business, what you want to do in terms of number of customers within a period of time, and all the things that you need to do as well. So it helps you basically define your model, and you are able to always focus on what you intend to do as you document this. So it also helps you to convince others that you understand what this business is all about. Now, two major stakeholders, primary stakeholders for your business plan are actually possibly investors and even your employees. It's clear that if you have a business plan and you communicate that to your employees, it helps them key into the vision of your business, and they tend to know what they ought to do, where we are going, where you are, and how you want to get there. So you are just really trying to conceptualize what you intend to do. Now, there are different types of business plans. You could have business plans that are written just for the purpose of writing it. But in terms of the keyword bankable business plan, we're talking about a business plan that an investor can see and invest in it. So the baseline for you is to always define what exactly you want for your business and how you want to achieve it. And your Bankable business plan is something that meets that criteria in terms of being able to convince an investor or a banker to invest in your business. So why would you want to do this? You know, it's very, very clear, just like I said earlier, you need to know how you get into the market. Your understanding of the market needs to be top notch. You have to be clear in your mind how you want to address, your business from the competitive point of view, what are the ways that you're going to differentiate yourself, and all the things that you need to do. Everything has to be clear in your mind so that you don't just go into the business and then you are now grappling with the realities of, the business. So some of the reasons that you would think through as why you have to drop the business plan. The first thing is it helps you clarify your ideas. By the time we go through the steps and further down the line, you'll see what we're talking about here. You are able to think through everything that needs to be thought through. It's also a formal document, so it's always good for you to document ideas, right? So that they're always there for you to use as a reference document. So it's also a formal document that you could use, that you can maybe 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, a year down the line, you can go back and say, oh, this is how I started this business. This was where I thought I would be. This is where I am. How do I go on? Am I achieving what I intend to achieve, as well as measuring up with what I plan to do? So it's that kind of document that you can make reference to and can help you to basically measure your performance over time. And as well, if anybody works in, like I said earlier, with your employees, even your bankers or investors, you could get feedback from them, because it helps you to understand basically what, or rather help them understand what you plan to do, and then they can provide you with feedback as to their understanding of what you are doing. So as I said earlier as well, it helps you to understand your business as you grow. It guides your business, you know the key performance indicators, and you are able to follow through some of them. So you see that most business, if you walk in there, they'll say, this is our vision, this is our mission, this is where we want to be in 3 years, this is where we want to be in 5 years. Now, so at the end of the first 5 years, right, you can then go back and say, did I attain what I planned to attain? And that helps you discover certain problems. For example, if you are not meeting up with your expected plans or goals, then you start to think through to say, oh, what went wrong? How do I go about it? And so on. So it really forces you to think through the critical aspects of your business. So yeah, I'm assuming that we all probably may not have single-handedly written a business plan before now, right? But we'll just talk through the 10 steps here to create your business plan. So there's always the executive summary part, which is more like the last part of the business plan that is written. You will have gathered all the information that will be sharing with you, and then you summarize it at a very high level, maybe 1 to maximum 2 pages. Overall, your business plan could be like 30 to 40 pages. Now, not everyone that will be reviewing it, especially maybe your investors, will have that patience to read through at a glance. So the executive summary actually speaks to the key points in your business plan. Now, you also need to look to who are your customers. You need to be able to define the type of people they are. Are they individuals? Is it a B2C business? Is it a B2B business? Is it a B2G, that is business to government? Is it business to business or business to consumer? So it defines clearly what type of customers, right, that you will be selling to. So you have to always think through this as well. We'll be talking about certain parameters of your customers as we go on. Now, so you also need to evaluate your target audience. So you can't, afford to make mistakes about this. You need to identify who they are. If they're individuals, what are their demographics, their sex, their age, their probably their educational status. Are you speaking to highly educated people? Is it a mass market product? depending on what your product is. But if it's a B2B, then you have to be thinking about the firmographics. So what kind of business are they? Are they small businesses? Are they micro? Are they medium-sized businesses? Are they large businesses? In what sector are they operating? Which industry? Where are they located? And so you need to be able to segment your customers and your target audience, and this helps you to as well understand how you will reach them. Now, another step that you need to look at is what really are the opportunities. We'll be talking about certain models that you will use to conceptualize your ideas as you go on. But you need to understand the opportunities your business has. There is no point, for example, going into a business where you cannot see opportunities for growth. So you need to be very clear about the opportunities. And I said earlier about the competition, you have to be able to understand your competition. So there are so many tools that you can also use to analyze your competitors. As we go on, we also share that. So every business has its own competitor. You just need to know who they are, and not thinking about your competitors, for example, means that you have not evaluated your environment. I mean, look unprofessional to investors, and in fact might just be plain naive for you not to consider who you are competing against. Now, the next thing is the simple financial plan. It's always good for you to be able to forecast, okay, how much revenue, how many customers, what is the selling price, what am I gaining from this investment, how much am I putting into the investment. We'll talk about all these details in a short while. So you also need to include your marketing plan. You need to have an outline marketing plan. You need to analyze, your product, or even if it's a service, you have to analyze your service or product. You have to know the right pricing. How are you pricing? Are you pricing high? Are you value pricing model organization, or you're just trying to beat the cost side of it, which is reducing your cost and using that to influence the price. So do you have any competitive advantage in terms of pricing? And you need to also evaluate your positioning. Where are you? You segment your market, you learn how to target them, then you need to position yourself, you need to position your brand, and then you need to know how to promote your brand. You need to think about it in terms of how am I going to make profit? How am I going to sell? Where am I going to sell? Is it going to be online? Am I doing brick and mortar, physical? So you have to think through this, how you're going to reach out to your customers and the people that you will need. When we say physical evidence, we refer more to services and as well as products. For services, probably your brochures. For products, of course, the physical product and all that. So all this needs to be documented in your marketing plan. You also need to plan your operations. So it's one thing for you to set a vision for the business, but you need to talk about how am I going to get there? Your day-to-day, how am I going to get there? What will I be doing in terms of marketing, in terms of my inbound logistics, in terms of my outbound logistics? What are the things that I am going to be doing, right? If it's a manufacturing business, what's our production process? How do we package it? If it's more like a service business, you need to know the quality of people, the kind of training programs, processes, procedures, policies that you put in place to ensure that your operations run smoothly. People is really the key to business. Every business always says the most important asset is their people, right? So you have to be able to get the right people. You need to know who to hire. You need to know how to hire them. You need to know how you get to them and so on. And we'll just round it up here. In terms of the simplicity of it, you have to keep it very brief. And like I said earlier, not too lengthy. So these are really the steps that you take. And as we go on now, we'll show you the components. I'll move on to talking about the components. What really are those things that should be in your bankable business plan? So you need to have all these 7 components properly addressed. You have to be clear about your strategic plan. We'll talk about the models you use. Your human resource plan, the people plan is your personnel plan, you want to call it. You have to be clear about that. You have to be clear about your marketing plan. Like I said earlier, the world now has gone technologically inclined. So every business now has to be driven with some form of information technology. So you have to also have a plan. How do you want to drive your business with technology and so on? Your financial plan, and then your operations plan, and then the funding plan. How do you raise the necessary fund? So your strategic plan, is really the key to the business, because that is where you start thinking about the vision for the business. So you need to set a strategic direction for the business. And to do that, there are several models, that have been there for maybe 20, 25 years now, that are used by every business. And it's not about size. Even a small entity needs to think strategically. What is the political environment that I'm operating in? What is the economic environment I'm operating in? Are interest rates going up? Is there inflation? Or how is unemployment? If your business depends so much on industries being running, if that industry, a particular industry running, and maybe you service the oil and gas industry, and then these are some of the issues. Now, if there are issues in that industry, it impacts on your business. So you need to also be able to evaluate the external environment of your business using this pest analysis tool. Now, in terms of the 5 forces, another tool that you can use is the Porter's 5 forces, which is the one that evaluates the industry that you are operating in. So you are able to look at, okay, what is the industry rivalry? How is it? Who are the competitors? How are we competing against each other? Every industry has that. If you pick the telecoms, for example, you must understand that there's competition at the telco level and as well. So, and that cascades down in how they deliver their service. And then you also look at it from the point of view of, okay, how easy is it for new entrants to come into this business? So if it's a high capital intensive business, of course, the threat will be low. But if it's a low capital intensive business, of course, it's an open market. So you need to be able to analyze your business carefully, depending on the industry you operate in. And for the bargaining power of buyers here, we're talking about you looking at those people that you sell to, and then you are able to understand whether they have a high level of power, whether you depend on them, or they have a low level of power in terms of determining your prices, determining how you run the business as well. Threat of substitutes, okay, well, this basic economics here, you look at it to say, okay, what other products can be done for my product that can people use that will substitute for my products. You see that as well. So if you are, for example, in the supply of coffee, right, then you should then look at tea. People might be looking at tea or other beverages as a substitute, but you then look at the relative power that or influence that people have, that's those substitutes have on the market. So these are just some of the tools. Now, in doing that, the reason why you have to use some of these models is that it structures your thinking. One other one, which is also very key, is the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to the business, which is more like what we call the SWOT analysis. It's a common model. It's better. It helps you look both internally and externally, in the sense that the strengths. You are the one that knows your business, you know yourself, you know what you intend to do. So you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, but then externally, you need to be able to see the opportunities outside and then the threats. You need to go through and document all this as well. So as you document all this, it shapes your thinking of your business. So in terms of a human resource plan, okay, you need to understand how you are able to resource your entity now or in the future. You must be able to predict the level of staff that you want to operate with. You need to be able to balance this so that you don't get overstaffed or understaffed, or you have to be optimizing your staff strength. You might be considering full-time, part-time, you might even be considering outsourcing some roles. So all this has to come into play in planning your human resource needs. So that it's very key that you think through your people. So you have to document them. You have to look at the cost. How much am I going to use to hire them? You have to also model that into your financial plan. So we've talked about the marketing plan. You have to think through your marketing plan, your marketing strategy over a year, over a month, quarter, depending on any time period that suits you, that you feel you can come back to review, to see the level of achievement of this. So you need to understand your business activities. You need to be able to document your probably advertising goals. Maybe you're doing any promotions. Maybe you're doing any public relations. Whatever program that you have, all these have to be captured in your marketing plan. And some of the models that you could use, like I said earlier, the 9Ps, which I shared with you, your brand positioning map, you need to know where you stand, how do people stand against you, your growth strategy matrix, your product life cycle, which I also mentioned, your introduction stage, the growth stage, the maturity stage, and the likelihood of a decline in that market that you operate in. So you have to plan this very, very carefully. You also need to do some customer segmentation, trying to segment your customers, making sure that you understand different characteristics of your customer profile. Like I said earlier, if you're doing a B2B, then you'll be looking at it from the industry, from the size, whether they are small, medium scale enterprises or the large corporates. You need to look at the industry where they operate in, the kind of business that they do. So you need to document that as well. And then you need to also understand your customer lifetime value. In doing that, you need to understand your leads. How do you generate leads? How do you convert your leads? And when you convert your leads, how do they then continue to provide value? What is it that they could do to add value to your business? Okay, so for the IT plan here, we have looked at it, and one of the things we've shown here is the 6 building blocks model by Gartner. So Gartner says your business strategy actually sits on your IT strategy. And to do that, you need to consider the type of applications that you'll be using, the software, the portals, now almost every software now is going cloud, so you need to consider some cloud-based applications so you can access them anytime, anywhere, right? You need to understand your operations. You need to be able to understand your total hardware infrastructure, point to point. Where will I be located in terms of my servers? Am I using other devices to connect? Am I doing an enterprise-based system? You need to be able to be clear about the kind of models that you're using, the kind of software. For small businesses, however, they might just be paying some few subscriptions monthly to certain cloud providers, cloud accounting or cloud software providers. Say, it might not necessarily accounting. It could be any platform. Maybe your HR system could be online. Your planning, your project management software as well could be online. You could access so many things. You have to consider that. Now, what sits underneath all the IT infrastructure again is the people. It is how the people are able to manage your IT plan. And you need to be able to look at that. Are you going to be doing it in-house? Are you going to be outsourcing? All this has to be considered. For your operations plan, you have to be detailed here. This is where you start talking about your policies, your procedures, your processes. How would this tie to your day-to-day activities, things you'll be doing in the business? Now, depending on the kind of business, so if it's a bakery, for example, you have to think through quality control, how to avoid wastages, what is your sourcing plan, what is your production plan, what are the things that needs to be done on a day-to-day. Basically, those are the things that you'll be considering. And of course, it's just a subset of your overall strategic plan. So you need to start thinking through how your operations plan, will run. Now, the whole thing that we've been saying earlier, all the other components of the plan actually relate to the actions you need to have a marketing budget, for example. You need to look at your IT infrastructure and the cost that you're going to incur. We've talked about your human resource plan. You definitely be paying, your staff, and even those that will be independent contractors as well. So by the time you have gotten all this information, right? Then you need to tie this into your financial plan. Now, there are different templates for us. For example, one of the things that we do is that for our clients, we could give you templates that you could just feed in your numbers. You don't really need to be an accountant to do this. However, if you want to get a deeper understanding, right, and depending on the scale and the size of your business, it might be advisable that you actually have an accountant prepare this for you as well. But basically, you will be looking at preparing a profit and loss account over a 5-year period at minimum. It's better to always plan between 3 to 5 years at the start of your business. You need to look at how your cash flow, where would the money be coming from? How do you get the money from your operating activities, from your investing activities, from your financing activities? What are the assets I'm going to put in place? So you have to understand that as well. So your sales forecast will also be fed in here, your personnel plan. Then you need to look at your break-even analysis as well. So your financial plan actually should show these details. These are at the minimum. Depending on the size of it, like I said earlier, you might even have to do evaluation, especially when you want to bring in a venture capitalist, for example. So your financial plan is actually what ties together all the other aspects of your plan. All the other components of your plan is tied together by your financial plan. So it's really, I will tell you, the most important part from the business perspective, because every business is actually set up with a view to making profit. So it is here that your investors, your banker, that's the first, before they even want to you to tell them further details about your business, the first thing they want to look at is the viability of the business, and it's the financial plan that will be speaking to that. The last component, the last part of your business plan is your funding plan. So where would you be getting the money from, right? How are we going to start? At the stage of your financial plan, you will have been able to understand the level of investments that is required. But then you have to think through all the different ways that you can raise money. But if you look at it from the bottom here, right, this is best practice. You will always think about your own, savings, right? How am I going to do this? Are you able to raise credit as well? So from there, you go to your friends and family. Of course, that's the easiest thing for anyone to do. But as your business grows, you might need to then reach out to your personal network. And these days, there's a whole lot of crowdfunding activities going on there. So we have business angels. These are like someone that is close to you, trusts you, that can invest in you as well. You have to think through all that as well. So there are accelerator programs, there are venture capital accelerator programs where you go pitch your business to them, you do your normal sales presentation to them, and if they believe in the viability of your business, they are willing to invest. Then you could all scale it up to venture capital and then to the bank. So more or less, you need to have a plan. You need to map that out based on the income that you're generating. You also need to be thinking in the line of identifying potential funders. Especially, you need to know that business is not going to, just your business is not just going to go into profitability in month one. Best practice is actually to plan for like 6 months working capital at the minimum. So you need to think about that as well. So having a funding model is very, very critical. You might need maybe 20 million to do your business, but you might not need the 20 million at the start of the business. So say, for example, you might still need to acquire property, plant, and equipment to help you, start your production. So you might need to wait till after everything is in place before you start talking about working capital management. You're talking about getting raw materials or something. So it's very necessary that you have a timeline for this business plan. So this said, we do have some recommendations, because from the little that we've shared, you'll see that it's actually a whole lot of detail here. But for some of us here, maybe I'll ask my colleague, Luisa. Luisa, can you run the poll now? We have a poll. Okay, so you have the poll has been launched. Please kindly, I will allow 2 minutes max, and then we close the poll. Thank you. So we're still waiting. I'll just allow 1 more minute before close the poll. Okay, kindly, just about 40 seconds more before we close the poll. Okay, it's interesting. So we'll be closing the poll in another 10 seconds. Okay. So a business plan adds no value to the business. I can see that 83% actually disagree. So we all agree that having a business plan adds value to the business. Okay. And it's good that some of us are actually also planning to have a business plan in place within the next 3 to 6 months. Okay, so I'll proceed. Thank you, everyone that participated in the poll. And I will proceed to some of the recommendations we have for you as to how you could go about this. So we actually recommend 3 ways that you can implement your business plan documentation. Is either you read up more about it, you read a book, you follow the instructions, and then you are able to conclude it on your own, or you hire a coach, and I'll be sharing more about that. You hire a coach, someone that can guide you. You still do more of the work, but at least the person is able to guide you through, or you take a course basically on business planning. For the book, we recommend Guide to Business Plan. While there are many books out there on business planning, we actually recommend Guide to Business Planning by Graham, Friend, and Stefan Zeha. So, you can search it out on Amazon. It's just, I think it costs between $10 to $15. Very wonderful book on business planning. And we also have a business coaching program, where you get a dedicated business planning coach. And what would you get from your dedicated business planning coach? You have business model templates, all the tools. You share templates with you, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and they'll support you in a rapid implementation of that program, of the business plan. You get a one-on-one time with your dedicated coach to make sure you're on the right track. So if you set a timeline, you have meeting periods that you are able to review your plans together. Like I said, we'll also be sharing a business plan template, that is a tool that will help you to get started in developing your own business plan. And it will define the core principles of your business, right? Like the vision, the mission, your standard operating procedures, and more. It will ask you questions, to help you outline a strategic plan. So your business coach will be there for you, and there through and through, and is dedicated to you. And he also share with you a financial model template, which is usually in Excel, and then they're able to help you model that. So we actually do that collective. So but right now, if you are part of this webinar and you are really interested in documenting your business plan, and if you need some form of business code to help you do that, you can get in touch with us, and then we will be able to do this. So I'll share with you a link as well as we go on. So you could also run through a course, so to go further down, along the line, I've mentioned quite a whole lot of models, but we are excited to announce our business planning course, which is specifically designed to help you and your team develop a bankable business plan and make this, year the best possible for you, your business, because you'll be amazed at the volume of work and the volume of thinking that you have to put into the business. This program, has helped some of our clients who are startup owners, CEOs, and business leaders. It's something that we pride ourselves in. We do this quite a whole lot, and we help them manage their business successfully, helping them using these proven frameworks and models that we have proposed, and are also able to help them raise funding. We through our networks, through our relationship with the financial services sector as well. Because we understand exactly what investors are looking for, and we ensure that these are properly done. So we are actually also doubling down on our commitment to you. This course is actually valued at 200, but if you are part of that, if you go to this link now and indicate your interest, then you'll be allowed to pay a discounted fee of 100,000. So the course is over a 12-week period. It's a 3-month program, and which we have live coaching. We have peer support. Peer support is we have a group of entrepreneurs that we're already working with, who have been through this. So you will bring you in so that you can all discuss and share your knowledge and experiences as well. We'll be having mastermind sessions. There'll be some video recording, video modules that will help you, that will also share with you, that will guide you through the process. And for the first time ever, I will also be personally engaging participants in 3 open coaching hours. I've been doing this for some time now, and so much I'm willing to share with you if you're interested in running that course. So you have the opportunity to get direct insights on the current environment that we operate, engage your peer group of entrepreneurs, allow your team to deep dive into the woods of business planning. Okay, so now I believe you will not be alone in your business planning journey. So this proven program will keep you and your team aligned, not just on decision making, but on the most critical moves you need to make to boost your cash flow, to grow and scale your business with less drama, and ensure that you are agile in the face of any adversity. So you understand your business through and through. So what are the things that you get in this business planning course? You will get access to a virtual training system, so you can always go back and get your answer from the videos. This about between 8 to 9 hours on-demand videos. You also get an intensive live group working sessions. Like we'll come together and have live group working sessions to ensure that your implementation is concluded. We'll also be sharing with you business model templates and tools that will support your rapid implementation. You have 5 interactive mastermind sessions to collaborate, report on your progress, exchange results, and all the like. So, and on top of that, you get a one-on-one time with your dedicated coach. We also give you a dedicated coach on this, so that you can be sure that you are on the right track. You will also receive an official master planner certificate from us as well. So it's a program that I feel that can help you, for a lifetime, in your business as you journey through your business journey. So I want to really end this conversation on the fact that on this quote, it says by Ayodele Olatiregun, it says the ability to generate business ideas is not a problem for budding entrepreneurs, but their capability to attract external funds is a major obstacle. So it's very good that you keep this at the back of your mind, because ultimately it means if you have a business plan, it's easy for you to easily talk to people and raise funds. Okay, so well, notwithstanding, if you are still looking out to have someone write your business plan for you, we are here to also do that. Although our intention is always that you should teach or coach people how to go about this, right? Business owners, because it's good for you to also have a deep understanding of what it is. So on that note, I would like to thank you, and I'll hand over to Benga now for the question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that very brilliant presentation. And I believe that everyone must have gained a lot from this. Quite an eye-opening presentation. Things that you wouldn't even imagine that should be there are actually there. And it's quite so simple, except if somebody thinks it is not. But from this presentation, it's been quite simplified. And I really think I can even just get a go at it already, just like any other person. Okay, so I'll be discussing some questions that I can see from attendees already. A certain Oluwatosin Kolaole is asking how long a business plan can be used after starting the business. Is asking if it's just something that you would start with and then it's no longer useful after the business launched. Yeah, that's the first question I will have. You can attend to that while I expect a few more to come in. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Benga. Thank you, Oluwatosin. Well, your business plan should be with you along the way. Yes, you might have to update it as you go along, but it's not a document that you take pain to write and then you dump it. Rather, it's like your guide, it's like your roadmap, like I said earlier. So it's good that you write it at the beginning of your business. However, if you're already an existing business, of course, you can still write your business plan from that point you are. Because like I said when I was making the presentation, I said that it's more like a gap analysis, where you are now, how you want to get there, and where you are going to. So you have to factor that. So yes, you can write your business plan at the beginning before you start, or even if you've started, you now need to start planning. And of course, it's a document that you always refer to.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarification. Oluwatosin, I hope that answers your question, or you would like to engage further while we still wait to see if further questions will be asked. It appears it was so simplified and everybody is so clear about how to write a business plan, and then there are not so many questions as one would have expected. So just with a few more minutes to see if more questions will drop, you can just access the Q&A section at the bar below the presentation. You can see Q&A, just click on it. You can then ask whatever question you want to ask. All right, I can see Tosin saying it's been clarified. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Okay, another one just dropped. There is a Femi Olalotiti saying that the business plan from a strategic point of view sounds amazing. Yeah, it is amazing. However, for a country like Nigeria, how do you reconcile the effect of nepotism with a business plan? So let me say that again. Is very clear about how amazing the business plan is, but then he's thinking that for a country like Nigeria, what's the effect of nepotism on the business plan?
Okay, so thank you, Benga, for that. So, the business plan is for you as a business owner, right? And it's your guide. It's your choice whether to make it a public document or not. So it's really your roadmap as a business person. And since you are in business, of course, you need to then plan as well. But in relation to nepotism, well, I don't know, maybe if you were seeking a business loan, or maybe you are looking for an investor, maybe then nepotism can come in, right? Nonetheless, I would say that there's really nothing like that, because if you have all it takes, if you've done what you're supposed to do, you can easily go to any investor or bank to raise fund. You don't really need to know people, as long as you have a good business fundamental and you have also documented it in a way that clearly shows that you understand your business.
Okay, thank you for that. Maybe I can help him expand it a little bit. I'm just thinking, what if he's actually thinking of a business set up to primarily service a government agency, so where it is in code perceived that the nepotism level is quite high. So how factual, how scientific would you likely have to be in preparing that business plan when you know that certain unethical practices might taint your plan in reality? Maybe that's what he's trying to ask. I'm just trying to add more flesh to it.
Okay, yeah, so fair enough, Vinga. Yeah, so if you're doing a B2G business, right, you don't wake up one day to go do business to government. Of course, if you look at it, right, you can still win government contracts, right? Yes, we agree. Nepotism is in business, but I'll tell you, nepotism, cronyism is everywhere in the world, not just in Nigeria. I'll tell you. Maybe yes, more pronounced because of the corrupt environment that we live in. So you don't wake up tomorrow to say my business is to go do business with government, right? So you must, of course, look at your network, like I showed earlier, right? Even for your funding, right? It starts from yourself, your savings, to your friends, to your family, to your personal network, and so on like that. So you need to look inwards more when in relation to your business plan, and then for achieving the necessary results. So I really will say that even if you're doing business with government, there are certain hurdles that you still need to cross. I believe that if you have practically a unique idea, probably you have a patent or a trademark, something very unique, of course, you definitely achieve all that you want to with government business.
Okay, thank you. Femi, would you like to confirm if you're satisfied with that question? Then there is someone, Raphael Famuyua, is asking a very tricky question, and I'll just push it as it is. He's saying, is it possible to have more than one business plan for the same business? It has an addendum, but I'll ask that once you give a straight yes or no, because he's planning something. So he say, is it possible to have more than one business plan for the same business?
I would say no, right? And you can take me on that. You see, the reason is you can have different strategic, directions, right? So everything will then have to be, cascaded into the same business plan, right? Not as if you have to then prepare. So you prepare a different financial plan for this, a different financial plan for that. You're doing a different strategy, marketing strategy. I don't think it will work that way. Your plan can be reviewed yearly, but not that you will have two different plans at the same time. I don't think that is practicable.
All right, thank you very much. Rafi, I think your answer is very clearly, your question is very clearly answered, because your addendum is saying that if it's yes, does it mean that one is already banking on the fact that the business might fail in the first place? So since the answer is a no, you do not, you're not even thinking of having some double mind about the business for starters. So please keep your plan a single plan. It can be reviewed periodically in the face of current realities, as has been discussed. Thank you. Yes, we have another question that has been answered already. For the purpose of other participants, someone has asked, Tosin Kolawole asked if the recording will be available to participants after the webinar. It's been answered yes. We'll share a link with everyone after the webinar. You can then see the recording of the webinar. Thank you. We do not have any more questions at this time. Should we give more time, or we should rather think of winding it down?
Okay. If there's anyone that wants to ask any further question, kindly indicate as well. Thank you.
You guys keep the questions coming. We are quite enjoying questions. They're quite cerebral, and that's the purpose of us sitting down here at this time. So if you think you would want to contest a few things in what has been presented, you do not agree, or just say it. Be very free.
Okay, so since we're at the end, please you can unmute as well to speak up if you don't want to type your questions. Um, you know, thank you very much.
Okay, so you even have the right now, you have the permission to speak out. So please make use of that and let's hear your voice. We're waiting. Thank you. Okay, I think there is someone trying to say something. Olusheye, but you're muted, I guess. Maybe you would like to unmute yourself.
Okay, so I appears we don't have further questions. So we'd like to thank every one of you that has been part of this. And, you have our contact details as well. So if there's any need for anything, you can reach out to us. I have someone raising up their hands. Please unmute yourself and speak if you want to. Okay, Raphael.
Raphael, yeah.
Raphael, kindly unmute yourself.
Raphael, you are muted if you are speaking. There's an unmute button to the left of your screen at the bottom page. Raphael, we're waiting on you. Okay, there is a question from Bolanle Molumo. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. If not, I ask that you pardon me. And she's asking if you have a book on the subject matter. So it's saying she's asking if Collective Consulting has written a book on this subject matter.
Okay, thank you, Benga. So we have not had any book written, but we have developed frameworks. We've developed templates that address this. We're recommending that you, or rather, it was recommended that you could read up any book. We particularly recommended one book, but we don't have any book written yet. But we have developed financial plans, financial models, templates, worksheets, questionnaires that can guide you. So we are looking at it more from the practical point of view rather than just being theoretical about it. So we've developed all this, and those are the things that we have some that are free templates, but definitely if you go through the course, or work with any of our business coaches, right, you have access to most of these materials.
Thank you. Okay, we're just 3 minutes before 11 o'clock already. 12 o'clock. So we don't have any other question at this time. I believe we should just move on to the home stretch. Okay, so thank you very much. That's the end of the Q&A session. Thank you very much for all your questions. We were glad to appreciate your time. For each of asked questions means you have actually followed us quite closely, and your understanding is appreciated. And thanks to the presenter too, you did a very good job. More reason why there are quite a few questions, because delivery was really perfect. Thank you very much, and that's all for this session. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.